guys, welcome back to another episode of Living Well with Kate, and happy Halloween. I'm going to show you how to make one of my favorite Halloween treats, pumpkin seeds. So you can go sweet or savory. You can always customize the flavors any which way, and pumpkin seeds are super nutritious. They actually help rid the body of parasites. But let's get started. I'll show you how to make them. So step one when making pumpkin seeds is just washing the exterior of the pumpkin. So I'm just going to give it a little bit of a rinse off. And since we're just using the seeds, it doesn't have to be overwhelmingly clean. And even too, I use all the pumpkin, I keep the inside, but we're not gonna eat the skin. So it doesn't have to, you don't have to scrub it or anything. And this is, you can get a couple different pumpkins. Make sure you don't get a gourd, they're not edible. But this is a pie pumpkin. So this is a really good size for me. The bigger pumpkins are a little too much to handle. So I like to use a bread knife because it makes it a lot easier to cut through the pumpkin. Pumpkins are super tough. You're gonna wanna take the top off first. It's just gonna make it a little bit easier to cut. And there we go. You see? Okay, there we go. Not the easiest thing in the world to cut, but we did it. So once you get your pumpkin halved, you're gonna wanna strain it out and scoop the guts out. You can use a serrated spoon, but I just like to use my hands because they're just easier. I can kind of claw it out like a bear. There. I like to save the pumpkin half because I'm gonna bake it later. I actually use it for my puppy and her dog food. I'm not really worried about this stringy stuff. I just really wanna get as many seeds out as possible. And see, this pumpkin has a ton of seeds. And if you have a garden at home, you could actually save some of the seeds and you can start to grow your own pumpkins. So we have always got all of our seeds out. These ones are a little finicky, but I think that should be good. We got most of them out. So once you have the seeds in here, you can see it still has some of like the pumpkin guts on it. So it's gonna be super easy. We're just gonna wash that off. So once you have them strained, you could lay them down on your paper towel. So you can kind of see how they look pretty moist still. And you can pick out just the remaining little bit of pumpkin. And we're gonna just do an extra paper towel to ensure they get really dry. So the pumpkin seeds have been sitting for quite some time, so they're pretty dry now. They're just a little sticking to this paper towel still, so you just kind of get them off. You see if there's any other little pieces hanging on, we could just pick those off. So now that our pumpkin seeds have been prepared, you'll just want to use a little bit of olive oil. And then, like I said, you could do it either savory or sweet. I like to do them savory and spicy, but you can always add cinnamon and sugar if you want a little bit of a sweet kick. So this will add some sugar or some salt. I meant sugar because I want sweet. A little bit of black pepper, some chili powder, some paprika. So I like to go with a little kick of chili and a little smoky of paprika. I feel like it gives it a little bit rounded flavor. When I make pumpkin seeds, I like to go for that umami flavor. And you're gonna need 7 different flavor profiles in order to achieve that. Next will be garlic, because who doesn't love garlic? And lastly, we're gonna add turmeric. Turmeric is a wonderful anti-inflammatory, natural for the body. It'll give the pumpkin seeds this nice little orange color too. Bring it all the way back to the pumpkin. And while they're on here, I just use my hands, and you could mix them up to ensure that all of them have a nice coat of all of the seasonings. So we're gonna lay them down on the parchment paper. And you're gonna wanna get them to be a nice even coat. If they're not even on here, they're not gonna cook properly, and so you'll have some that are just way more crispy than others. So for an even cook, you'll want them evenly lined up. Now the oven's already been heated to 350, so I'll just pop them in the oven at 350 for 15 minutes, and then we'll get to try them. So it's been about 15 minutes and the pumpkin seeds should be crispy and ready for us. So let's take them out. Ooh, perfect crisp. So you can already see on the outside how all the seasonings got really crispy. and they're pretty evenly coated. So the nice thing about parchment paper, we could just take it, and there you go. You have your tastiest Halloween snack. So crispy and so delicious, and so nutritious. Thank you so much for joining me on this episode of Living Well with Kate. I hope you enjoyed learning how to make pumpkin seeds. And even though Halloween may be over soon, never let the pumpkins go to waste. There's always something delicious and nutritious right in the center. Always remember, when you live better, you live well. I'll see you next time.